Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to another episode of 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, girl. This is the tell-all, the final episode of the season, and it was amazing. You guys, like, we made it through. We made it through the 90 mess. Somehow we made it through. Alright, you guys, so thank you so much for watching these videos. I love the conversations that we're having down in the comment section. I do not reply to all of them, but I see most of them. And besos to all of you guys. Alright, so let's jump right into this episode. This was a great one. Go on ahead and give this video a thumbs up. You know it's going to be good, so just go on ahead and thumbs it up and leave a comment. You know what I'm saying? First of all, let me say that I really loved the format of this tell-all. I don't remember what the Before the 90 Day tell-all format have been in the past, but I remember the ones where they're all sitting on the couch, and I know that those are happily ever after or maybe just the straight up 90 days. But this format where you get to deal with each couple on a couch together with just Sean is really, I think, the best way to do it. And then at the end, the second half, they have it be everybody together just kind of commenting. So kudos to that. Sean did a good job. I felt like there were still some awkward pauses and like some more stuff that she could have done. But you know, she's a different type of host than I would be, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. I tried to find a Sean Robinson wig so maybe I could do some of her bits, but girl, I could not get a wig like that. It was too much blonde in it, you know what I'm saying? I have one and it's just like black, you know? So the first couple that we have on the chopping block is Carinis and Paul. And Carinis, come through with the haircut, sis. Come through with that haircut. She looks really cute, really rested. She actually looks great. Paul hasn't been there in a while and she looks fantastic. And maybe the reason why Carinis looks so great is because Paul isn't there. Paul isn't there to drag her down with his crazy hoarder OCD personality. So it seems like Carinis' English is coming along. Sean Robinson says hello to her and she responds. The first couple of responses are in English, and I was like, okay girl, at least somebody is trying to bridge the gap. Then there's a little bit of back and forth between Paul and Carinis about, you know, the amount of fighting they've had gone through right after the wedding, and they both admitted that it was a lot of fighting. And then they brought on Mary, who is Paul's mother, and we start to see a whole other side. Like, I knew Mary wasn't with it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I knew she wasn't down for this relationship, but it turns out that Paul's dad is not down for this relationship at all. So I'm getting ahead of myself, but when Sean tries to ask Mary like how she feels about Carinis, like what does she want to say to Carinis, the only thing she has to say is hola. And Paul has been married to Carinis for probably at least 6 months by now, right? So you would think that there would be like some kind of warmth, some kind of something, but there's nothing. Mary is like it's almost like she doesn't believe this is real, or she doesn't care that it's real and it's not real for her, so she's just gonna pretend like it's this make-believe thing that's happening in her son's life that she's gonna try to pull him back from. Sean is just trying to get Mary to talk about the sponsorship, because it turns out that Paul isn't financially fit enough to be able to just bring Carinis over. He's going to have to get his mother or his father to do the sponsorship. And the mother is just kind of like, yeah, no, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, you know? And Paul is such a fool. You know, when his mother first comes on there, he's like, it's like my two favorite women right in front of me. You know, it's crazy. I have both of your hairs in my backpack. Yeah, that's crazy. You're right. That's crazy. Mary says that Paul is a challenge and she really just doesn't know how all of this is going to turn out. And speaking back to the sponsorship, Sean Robinson asks Paul about that, and Paul basically says that everything needs to go through father. I mean, it was just really weird that he referred to his father as father. Like, father knows best. Father says no to this, so we can't do anything, especially my mother, until father says yes, and I respect that because that's their marriage. Paul's father sounds like he is somewhat of an alpha male, while Paul is somewhat of a gamma male, you know? I don't know if he's trying to put on the same kind of air as father in his relationship with Carinis, but he definitely isn't father. Paul is doofus, you know? Paul is weirdo. Paul is creepy. You're starting to see the dynamic of what kind of environment Paul grew up in and why he's probably very close to his mother, which is nothing wrong with being very close to your mother in general, but not when you're like Paul close to your mother. It's just kind of unhealthy seemingly, you know what I'm saying? So then Sean asks Mary, what does father think about this whole scenario? And Mary's like, he basically doesn't think about it. Like, he just doesn't. He's not involved with it at all. You know, the thing that we both want is for Paul to grow up and figure his life out so that, you know, he can take care of it. And it being Carinis' unborn child. So they announced that Carini is pregnant again, and Carini's happy, and she's like crying a little bit because, you know, we all got to witness her miscarriage earlier on in the year. And so it's kind of like this moment that you were just like, oh, Carini, we kind of went through this with you. And Paul's mother is having no real reaction to it. It's very cold. It's very dry, like toast. It's not Southern. You know, they're Southern. They're Kentuckians or whatever. I hold the South at a higher standard of being nice and being welcoming because that's what they're known for, supposedly, and slavery. I just wanted more from her. I wanted her to be a better mom and a better soon-to-be grandparent, and it just wasn't there, and it felt really like, ugh, why would Carini want to come to this country to be with these people? Girl, stay at home. And so Sean is just like, again, turns back to Paul and is like, okay, Paul, so what's the next step for you guys? And Paul is like, oh, the next step is the DNA test. And Sean is like, come on, Paul. Come on. She breaks that, like, that professionality that she normally has because Paul is now being ridiculous. He's been married to Carini. They have gone through a miscarriage, and she's all the way in Brazil, and on national television, he tells her that they're gonna need a DNA test. He's gonna go through this entire pregnancy doubting his wife. His wife is gonna know that he doubts her. And so he thought that it would be appropriate to say that on national television because he does not have social skills. Like, even if he felt that way, Paul needed to have this conversation and this test after the baby was born, without the cameras. You know, so he doesn't have to humiliate his wife or look like an idiot when it comes out that this child is his. Why would Carini get pregnant by somebody else? Like, I get it if you're like watching some kind of movie, but Carini is on a public stage right now and she's been having problems with Paul and she went through all of that to marry him. She's not going to be messing around with another dude and get pregnant and have Paul take care of this baby. Like, that is not what's happening. And if I don't think that she is that cunning or sneaky at all. And I know a lot of you guys think that, but I don't think that at all. Paul is not your white knight, Carini. He is just some doofus with a visa. Idiot with a tourist visa, and you need to let that shit go. He gets on my nerves. He just called her a hoe in front of the entire world on national television. I don't trust my wife. I love her. You know, I want us to be together. I want us to work it out, but there is some doubt because I found some texts on her phone, painting this picture of her that I just find to be really silly. Like, first of all, you don't even read Portuguese. So how are you going through her phone, seeing romantic texts from people? Like, is she really leaving her phone around you long enough for you to go through it and then translate it? No, I don't think so. And secondly, like, she goes out to all times of the night. Maybe she's with her family. Maybe she's like partying with her family. Like, come on now. You don't know the circumstances behind that. He's bringing his sensibilities to her and then judging her based on that. And I don't think that's fair at all. Now, here's the kicker. When Sean does ask Carini if Carini was talking to other people, she doesn't say no. She says, you know, the people that I'm talking to are very far away, and it would be illogical for me to get pregnant from someone who's so far away. And I'm like, okay, so then maybe Paul does have a slight point. That doesn't mean that whoever is flying into wherever she is so she could have sex with him so she could get pregnant. The least she would do is be careful. Like, it's just crazy. Like, it doesn't add up. I get that there's doubt, and I get that Paul has been through stuff, but his reaction to her on national TV is inappropriate, especially if he isn't planning on divorcing her. And that's the crazy thing. It's not like Paul is like, you know what, I don't trust this, we're gonna take a break for now because she has been talking to other guys and I don't trust it, you know. And so until this baby's born and until there's a DNA test, that is gonna be the time where we'll get back together. Now, obviously that's foolish because no woman would do that, but still, like, at least that could be his thought process. His thought process is, no, I'm gonna shame her in front of everybody. I'm gonna let everybody know that I don't trust her because I've seen things on her phone, but I love her and I don't want a divorce and I want us to work out our problems. She is crying because she realizes that he's doing this to her again, and she's like, you're gonna do this again? And then she says, look, you know what? If our visa doesn't go through, I will be glad and done with this because you have been humiliating me in front of the entire world, and you're sitting here telling me that you love me. You don't love me. You don't. I don't want to go to the US. And I'm just like, girl, stay there with your family because Paul is never going to be the kind of support or love that you need. He is too grown. He needs to go into therapy. He needs to get counseling and figure out his shit before he could even be in a loving relationship with you. Like, I feel like he could take care of his kid and let him do that. But as far as being there for Carini, Paul is not right. He's not right, period, point blank. You know, he's like, oh, sweetheart. Like, when she starts crying, he's like, oh, I done fucked up. Oh, she's crying. Oh, what I said was wrong? What, Paul? You don't know that what you just said was wrong and hurtful? You think that it's okay to say that? Did some producer tell you to say that? He keeps saying, Carini, Carini, as he always does. I love you, Riri. Riri. Listen, if that had been me, and I had been like, ooh, and he had been like, Riri, I would have looked up like, ooh. Don't be calling me Riri. You have lost that right. Privilege revoked. Riri. Riri. Girl, no. And then he says to her, what do I do to you that's bad? And she's like, you call me a hoe in front of the entire world. Jesus, this guy's an idiot. Intiamo, I love you. And Sean is just like, come on, Paul. She's not gonna want to talk to you right now. You don't even know how to behave. You were just sitting up here saying all this stuff about her and now you're talking about you love her. I don't think she's gonna have a response for you right now, Paul, okay? So we'll just leave that alone. You guys have a conversation off camera. Okay, so the next couple that we're going to move on to is Angela and Michael. So just like I thought, I was right. Michael did not scam Angela, you guys. You guys were all in for him being a scammer. Shame on you. Shame on you. TLC just set that up to make us believe that he scammed her, and we know he did not scam her for no $600. He is trying to get the whole plate, you know what I'm saying? Not a side dish. He's trying to get to the United States and live his life. He wants to meet Donald Trump. Oh, it's so exciting to meet Donald Trump. Her bank ended up returning all that money because they said that it was double charges and it could just been the ATM machine malfunctioning, and like that is what I thought. So thank you, I won an award, give me something. Angela's good television, right? Can we all admit that Angela's good television and we like to see her on there? We like to also see what she's wearing because most of the time what she's wearing is absolutely crazy. Like, did you know you were going to be on TV? Why are you wearing like a huge pale pink situation with like calf leggings with lace? It's just so bad. Angela's outfit is ridiculous. There's only one woman who knew what was happening when they came to this show, and that is Darcy Silva, okay? After all the 90, I mean, even Nickel comes to the tell-alls dressed nicely. Like, Angela just like, don't know. This child, this woman, this 52-year-old elder does not know how to dress. She is wearing some like silver slides with like this much of a wedge heel, and then this billowy pink shirt and some black lace leggings that don't make no sense with this entire outfit. I'm going off topic. Let's get back to what really happened. So Sean asks Angela if she trusts Michael, and then she says yes, 99%, but that 1% is hell. He's living in hell for that 1%. And I 100% believe her. I mean, at least she knows she's busting his balls for only a little bit of doubt. You know what? I don't think Angela's ugly. I think that Angela in her heyday was probably very beautiful. Like, I'm not saying she's not beautiful now, but I mean, I just got a glimpse of her and I was like, oh, the lighting hit her just right. And I was just like, yes, ma'am. Okay. She cute. She talks about Nigeria and how coming back to the US, she was really happy to be back in the US and she's probably gonna never leave again. And I would say, Angela, you should leave the US again, but don't go for so long. She says that they have started the K1 visa process because they are engaged. They're still engaged, so she's happy about that. So then TLC decides that they're gonna show a clip of Michael's first segment with his homeboys when he's talking about Angela first coming to Nigeria. So it's that clip where he says that he thinks of Angela as his elder. So that comment sets Angela off so badly that it makes me believe that this whole we're still engaged situation is fake. I think that Angela planned on being dissatisfied with Michael during this segment and planned to walk away from this engagement. In fact, I think that they probably walked away from the engagement right after she got back to the US and she just needed a more dramatic way to get out of it, because honestly, that was just crazy. For her to get mad about him saying her because she's his elder is lunacy. Like, I get how she's hurt, but to call off the wedding and the engagement is crazy, right? You don't do that if you really love somebody. If you trust them 99%. And then that 1%, like, you don't do that, right? So she's good TV. All right, I see what you're doing here, Angela. It's a little Maury Povich. She went Maury Povich on us, you know? She started cussing at him, saying all this stuff to him, getting up, F you some bitch, all this stuff, and like walked out of the studio. The people are like, Angela, can you come back? And she's like, no, how dare he say that I'm elderly? Blah, 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 blah. This is so embarrassing. What about me being your fiance? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, you know how I feel about this. I told you last night that the age difference is getting to me a little bit. And I'm thinking like, yeah, you told him last night and you guys have been having these problems since you first shut down in Nigeria, but he said this before that. So how can you hold him accountable for saying that before you explained to him that you were uncomfortable with that line of conversation? And Michael is like seeing his future just dissipate in front of him as she melts down. He's just like seeing it like wax, like a candle wax, just melting right in front of him and doesn't know what to do. He's like, baby, I'm sorry. Things were great before this, and now you are upset. I want things to be great again. Baby, stop. Baby, no. Donald Trump, no. Angela, forgive me. Donald Trump. I'm actually quite sad for Michael because he ended up with the wrong crazy white lady. I'm starting to not like her, and at the end of this episode, I really walk away like, F this B. I mean, I guess she's good TV, but she is rash, and she does not care about showing it. She gonna come back in talking about she's mad at Michael because Michael made her cuss in front of everybody and made her look like a trash mouth. I'm like, B, you a trash mouth from the beginning, from the jump, from the get. Don't try to blame him for you not being able to control yourself. Girl, have some decorum. You're a grown woman. Comes back in and she sits down after she's like done smoking and doing whatever. And then she gonna say, you just changed the whole history of our future. What does that mean? She gonna have to think real hard on those one-liners before she comes out with it, because that sentence didn't make no sense, but it's okay. I get what she's saying. And then Michael's response is, baby, please forgive me. I say things randomly and I don't know what I'm saying. And I'm just like, I get why you said that. Producers might have told him to say, how do you feel about her being older than you? Like, how do you feel about her being your elder? And he responds, I think of her as my elder because I respect her. But that could be his thing. Like, maybe he has a kink that he's into Angela because she's older. Like, why is that wrong? Like, he could be his thing. Like, he might be like, I want to be with a woman who can tell me what to do and make me feel comfort, you know, and I don't have to do much thinking, but I can still tell her what to do as well. And we, you know, I like the dynamic of the older woman. You know, maybe he likes that. Dang, Angela needs to take that love from him however he gives it to her. And if it's not okay with her, then she needs to walk away, but she needs to been how walk away. To do it on national television and to act up the way she did, like she was on Maury. Girl, this wasn't the Maury days, okay? This is TLC, this is 90 Day Fiancé. You know what I'm saying? You can pull a Chantel, you can pull an Anfisa, you can pull a Paula if you want to, but I'm gonna need you to be wearing a really cute dress. You crazy, girl. All right, so the next couple that we're gonna talk about is John and Rachel. And honestly, John and Rachel are the only two people who make sense. I know I talked a lot of ish about John. Hello. But John was really well-spoken in this segment. I mean, he went a little too far and said things that he shouldn't have said. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to say you're trying to get into the United States and you go on a little tangent about how you an alpha male and you fight if you want to. You know what I mean? I'm just like, shh. In the beginning of their segment, they ended up showing a video of Rachel leaving, which is footage that we didn't get to see in the season, and she starts to cry. And it's so beautiful. Like, as much as everybody wants to talk about Rachel and Lucy and her decisions to be with John, I honestly don't see anything wrong with her decisions to be with John. This whole thing about him being a violent man who has anger management issues, like, no, he's just a brute. Like, he's just a super alpha male and protective. Like, personally, I would be okay with having a man like that. That as long as he's not going to the pubs every night looking for a fight and beating people up half to death, like, as long as that's not an everyday occurrence, like, we good. Like, protect me, protect this family. And that's what he says. At the end of the night, he goes home and he puts his head on that pillow and he knows that he's a good person. But he did say something that I thought was really cute, because Sean brought up the fact that he stepped in to take care of Lucy and did something that a lot of men wouldn't do. And any guy who would say that he wouldn't step in to be a good stepdad is not a man at all. And I'm like, you know what? I agree with that sentiment at all. I get the fact that people don't want to take care of other people's kids, but like, I mean, kids need to be cared for, they need to be loved. Just because it's not your kid doesn't mean that you need to be a jerk about it, you know? So like, he stepped in and he did a lot for Rachel, even, I forget, like, while she was pregnant with Lucy. So like, his relationship with Lucy goes far beyond anything that we as an audience member could imagine, because he was dealing and loving with Rachel when she was pregnant with another man's baby. That's his baby. You know what I'm saying? When they brought Lucy on set, like, Sean really wanted to hold Lucy, by the way, and she had to put her hand down when she realized she was reaching out for some woman's baby. You know what I'm saying? Sean also asked them how they keep their relationship alive and fresh, and I thought that it was gonna go to like a little bit of a sexual answer, and I'm glad that it did not. But basically what John said is that he changes his sleep patterns to be on Rachel's sleep pattern so they can wake up and talk to each other at the same time, which I think is very sweet. And I don't think it's as crazy as Sean is making it out to be. I know that they're separated for a long time, but there are like great love affairs that happen through being a pen pal with somebody. At least they get to FaceTime with each other. They don't get to touch each other physically, and Rachel feels that that's very unfair because she found somebody she loved, so she should be able to bring whomever she wants to the United States whenever she wants to bring them. But I do agree that like they are the ones that are gonna go the distance. And you know what? On Instagram, I will follow their love. So they have not started the visa process because Rachel says that it's very expensive. So they're gonna wait until they get the money to start the process. I'm really glad that they cleared up the whole like, do you trust John around your kid? Is he gonna be aggressive and abusive? And I'm just like, let's just squash all that, because one thing does not equal the next. And in some cases it might, but in this one I don't think it does. I hated what Rachel was wearing. Like, I just hated it. It was just like so old. And like, I feel like Rachel and I are the same age. Like, I feel like, and if anything, she's a little younger than me. And I just feel like, why was she wearing this quilt patchwork top? Why? And those jeans, girl, those jeans. She knows we've been all talking about those jeans. I like her with highlights. She had a little makeup on, you know, just that outfit. That outfit hurt my feelings just a little bit. And I want the best for Rachel. I want more for Rachel. So the next couple that we're going to talk about is Ricky and Jimena. And really there's nothing that crazy to talk about them, except for Ricky is a scammer. And as much as I tried to not talk about it, this episode really made me believe that the shady dealings are correct and that Ricky just did what he had to do to get on the show. He comes on and he's basically talking about his time with Jimena. Jimena jumps in and she looks great, and she's basically saying that her time with Ricky was a waste of time and that he's an idiot. So obviously they are not engaged anymore. And Ricky says that he made a lot of choices that didn't go well and that it's basically his fault. And you know, he takes responsibility for that, which I do like. And low-key, Ricky isn't looking too bad, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't like Ricky. I don't think he's strapping. But I mean, I love a man with a beard, you know? I feel like a beard does a man well, you know? And I feel like his hair was in a position that let me not see that it was thinning. And I was like, okay, Ricky don't look half bad, you know what I'm saying? You're not ugly. Basically what Ricky says is that he came back to the US, spoke to his daughter Amber, asked her what she should do, and she said, look, you're not physically or mentally ready to move on, so I think that you should just pump the brakes. And he's like, okay, you're so smart. And I'm just like, whoa, Amber's a really good actor. Like, this whole segment is so fake and made up that it just was so easy breezy for her to come in and say you shouldn't be with Jimena, you should think about what's happening here in the United States. And so I guess he then calls Jimena and breaks off the wedding because he doesn't even tell Amber that he proposed to her, right? Because it's not real. All of this is not real. It's all fake. It's all set up. And I just am just like so bleh about it. I hope Jimena was in on it. If she was in on it, this is some great telenovela acting. You know what I'm saying? If she wasn't in on it, he's a douche. And so is his wife. So the resolution is that he's getting back with his ex-wife and trying to work things out with her because Amber sees her as her mother. And so breaking up that happy home on a whim is not something that he wants to do. And I just call BS, and I call all fake, and I call mentiroso. I call it all, you know? Amber's like, you need to... What does she know about her father needing to physically heal? No, mentally and emotionally. Talking about he needs to physically heal. From what? Who is beating on him? In the conversation between Ricky and Jimena, like, basically Jimena's like, look, I was just an option for you, and that sucks. And like, yeah, maybe you're not a bad person deep in your heart, but you did a lot of shitty, shady things, and that's not fair. Like, I deserve somebody with no secrets and no lies. And then Ricky's like, but you know I loved you, and like, I came there with honest intentions. And she's like, you're still confused now, you don't even know what you want. The fact that you're getting back with your ex-wife. Sean asks him, hey, do you still love her now? And he's like, Like, he doesn't want to answer, right? Because if the answer is yes, then like obviously he's fickle and confused and it's going to be disrespectful to his wife. And if the answer is no, then obviously he's fickle and confused and it's going to be disrespectful to Jimena and what he said to her not near 6 months ago. Jimena doesn't understand the complexity of the situation. Well, then make her understand. They got a translator. Explain. So then Jimena basically says, look, thank you, Ricky. You did me un favor. She rolled that R, girl. Listen, now I know that I don't deserve crumbs. Now I know how to treat me better and what I deserve. This is the best decision that you made for me, and now I can move on and stand in my power, okay, and be the woman that I should be. Okay, so let's jump into Tariq and Hazel. Okay, so Tariq is sitting on the couch looking like a little bit of a snacky snack. You know what I'm saying? I tell you, the beards get me every time. Every man looks better with a beard. Hazel comes on and she actually looks great. I mean, she looks great. She doesn't look as sad or washed out or like unemotional as she normally looks. Hazel's been getting a lot of hate on the interwebs, you guys, and I don't understand why. Like, at least she's honest and being who she needs to be in front of everybody. Like, she's not deceptive at all. So it turns out that Tariq and Hazel is like the real deal, you guys, okay? He has been back to the Philippines to see her since the filming, and I think he's one of the only couples who's actually been back since filming ended, and it like makes me feel good about it, you know? Sean Robinson brings up the whole thing about him like being attracted to Asian women and how that came about, and he's just like, look, it happened, that's what it is. And you know, at this time, I'm not judging Tariq at all. Like, if he wanted to find Hazel, she's 25 years old, not like she's like 22, she's 25, she's already had a kid, she's already had life happen to her. And if they want to connect, then let them connect. So apparently they're having sex now, and he alluded to the fact that she's like calm and docile in person, but in the bed she's wild. And I'm just like, that's TMI, but okay. And then she had a pregnancy scare because she was late on her period, and so she went to like those like, you know, the village healer or whatever, and that woman told her to do this tea. She told Tariq about the tea, and then he went and Googled it, and he found out this tea is something that is used to terminate pregnancy. Like, it turns out that she was just late and that she was having cramps, and it was all a misunderstanding. She was never pregnant, and that the tea wasn't there to you know, terminate pregnancy. And so they ended up working it out, but it was kind of embarrassing and sad for her, and he helped her to have the conversation with Sean about it. And I thought it was kind of sweet. Then they brought in Dean, and you know, Dean's out of pocket as normal, but he's trying to get that TV time. Hazel ended up talking about the fact that she wants to come to the US, and she is going to come to the US, but her son won't be able to come, and eventually one day she hopes that he'll be able to come. They have started the K-1 visa process. It's actually done. The problem is that on her birth certificate, her name is spelled wrong, so they need to correct that. But they are full on planning on getting married and doing the damn thing, and I'm like actually okay with it. So the next couple that we go on to is Jesse and Darcy. This one is really hard to get through because they are just constantly fighting to the point where Sean has to be like, stop fighting for a second. You guys realize that what you've got going on is pretty insidious and pretty like nasty, this fighting. And they just can't. Jesse is just a douche. He looks terrible. He's wearing like some kind of inverse Beetlejuice outfit, and he's got orange all in his face and all in his beard. I guess like the spray tan didn't coat evenly, and he looks crazy. And he is crazy, just talking about Darcy the way he talks about her. This outfit makes Darcy look like a little bit of a Muppet. You know, she looks really short and like she doesn't have a neck, but she's trying, and certain times when she knows the camera is on her, she's giving us like her angles. And you know, I feel that. I'm team Darcy, even though she's a Looney Tune as well, but like the way he treated her was just unbelievable. And she took it, and so she's wrong in that aspect, but he was still the person being aggressive and being crazy. He comes out and he's just like not even nice to her. Like, it's like he tries to be fake cordial, and she's trying to be fake cordial too, but you can tell that he just really wants America and everyone to know that it's her fault for the reason why they broke up, and that, you know, it started off with the fact that she catfished him by showing pictures of her being 20 years younger or 10 years younger, and she's just like, they weren't that much younger. And you know, even though she did admit in the first season that she did put up pictures that showed herself as being younger, but that was in the very beginning. So it's crazy for him to bring up this whole idea that she catfished him, because by a certain point he realized what she looked like and how old she was, and like, he didn't care. So to even bring that up is a moot point in my opinion, and it's just a low blow. It's a low blow, and he's just trying to get ratings. And that's kind of why I don't want to spend any more time talking about him, because I can see through his plot. Like, Ricky, we can see through his plot, but at least it's somewhat interesting. Jesse's is just mean. Honestly, Darcy's the only woman who came to this who actually knew how to dress herself, and so I have to give her props for that. Her hair looks better long. Do I believe that it is all her natural hair? No, but like, who cares, you know? We are grateful that that high ponytail has disappeared and is gone. Sorry, I had to stretch my back a little bit. Okay, so now we move on to the part where it's everyone together. And there are some things that stood out to me, and there are some things that I'm just gonna gloss over, but let's see what my notes say. So while all the Americans are on stage talking about their experiences and talking about watching each other's experiences, Jesse's behind the scene kind of seething because everyone is Team Darcy. And he's like, I need to go out there and explain myself. And it's like, no, you don't. Like, no one believes that you had any kind of good intentions from Darcy to begin with. Darcy even admitted that she felt like he was with her the whole time for notoriety, to be in America, to build his brand. It wasn't really for her. That's the reason why he wanted to be on the show and came over so many times. And so it seems to be true. That's exactly what we're feeling. Like, he low-key is scamming the situation and then just treating her like poop in order to make himself look better, but he absolutely doesn't make himself look better. Like, he wants to press charges. Like, you look like a weak man for saying that. Tariq says that it's a toxic environment that they've got going on and that it's just not good, and the energy even out on the stage was just really negative. And then Angela pipes up and she says that she just thinks that Jesse is a dominant man and that, you know, their personalities just didn't work and it clashed. And then Rachel says, like, yeah, like, you guys just don't belong to each other. You guys are just playing the blame game and just, like, you know, it's just not right. And for whatever reason, Angela decides that Rachel stepping up and saying something about Jesse and Darcy is wrong, and that she's gonna tell them, you know what, honey, you don't know about their relationship. Like, so don't talk about people's relationship. And, you know, Rachel goes and defends herself. And then ghetto-ass Angela pops up and gets all in Rachel's face. First of all, I am Team Rachel 100%. I am so glad that Rachel stood her ground. I wish she had stood up. I know that would have been fighting body language in Angela's backwood country town. Rachel to be like, no, you're gonna need to hold up just 1 second there. And then for Angela to pop off at Rachel like that, like just doing this was wrong, and that she needed to get up and rectify the situation, how she wasn't going to be disrespected because she's a grown woman. Tariq tries to hold her back, and she's going to look at Tariq like, get off of me. Like, Tariq is doing something to her, and immediately I was like, Tariq, leave that lady alone, Tariq. This is like crazy. Like, Angela is a volatile human being, and she is not to be trusted. I don't care what happens to Angela. I am over her. And then Paul's gonna stand up and say, oh, you know, if you're in prison, you know that you can't put your finger up in someone's face. Paul, shut up. You're in prison. Paul, nobody asked you for your stupid world advice about how things happen in prison. They are not in prison. And Angela needs to control herself. This is not Rachel's fault at all. Angela is a bully. She's a braggart. She's brash. And she's trash. Okay? I said it. You can fight me on it. I don't care in the comment section. You can fight me on it. I said it. Whatever. And when they show the montage of Jesse and Darcy at the airport, when Darcy's dropping him off after he finished berating her the whole car ride to the airport, and she comes back and she hugs him and she jumps on him and she's smiling at him, you can tell that from at least her point of view, it's love. He then finally gets up and gives her a hug and says that he really wishes her the best, and she gets up and gives him a hug too. And I'm like, Jesse, you're just doing that because you want us to feel like you're not quite a bad guy and that you really do have love and respect for Darcy. But we remember what happened 5 minutes ago when you came out on stage and you berated her and told her that she catfished you and she threw shoes at you, and that you wanted to file a police report on her, and that how she was an awful, horrible person. You've been calling her a drunkard. Like, we remember all of that. So that hug at the end isn't doing anything for nobody. But for whatever reason, Paul decided that he was gonna start clapping, and I was like, Paul, put your hands down. Don't be clapping for these people. You just finished calling your wife a hoe on national television. Sit down, Paul. You have nothing to say about nothing. You have nothing to say about nothing. Don't say nothing about anything, Paul. Alright, you guys, so that is all I have to say about this episode. This video is so long, and I thank you so much for bearing with me through it. I mean, who is excited? Who is excited for next week? Next week is a whole new crop of couples. Season 6, 90 Day Fiancé, and they're all coming to the US. It just, the dream. The back-to-back 90 Day Fiancé dream. I love it. They don't even give us a week break, and I'm here for all of it. Let's have a kiki down in the comments section. If you like what I put out here on YouTube, don't forget to thumbs up this video. Leave a comment below. If you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to consider becoming a Patreon patron, please click the link down below. Guys, Let's have this conversation, y'all. Oh, and also one of my subscribers, thank you so much, Kat T. She made a ringtone of Fala Carinis. So for those of you who wanted the Fala Carini ringtone, it will be down in the description box or it will be pinned to the comment section. I'm so excited. You guys are brilliant. 90 Day Fiancé last night on Twitter was lit, you guys. I was just scrolling through when everybody on the East Coast and Mountain Time was watching it to see what was going on. So I got a little bit of spoilers, but this episode did not disappoint. Thank you, TLC. Thank you so much for this guilty pleasure. Thank you so much so that I can watch this and judge other people. Thank you. All right, you guys. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. All right, you guys, so I'm done filming my 90 Day Fiancé tell-all recap. I still have my camera on. I like to do this little bit to tell you guys to go on ahead and follow me on Instagram at justcallmewa. I need followers on Instagram because in order to link my videos from YouTube to Instagram, I need to have 10K subscribers. So like, I'm trying, I'm trying my best with Instagram, okay? All right, so go on ahead and follow me on Instagram. Thanks, guys.